Hey, what's going on, good people?
What it do? What it do?
We got a live one tonight, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm Eric Smith, the thought engineer, with my man, Mr. Comedian John Yogi. How you feeling tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. And don't get me off my game because I'm coming.
Oh, you ready? Got the game face on.
Nah, I ain't ready.
You ain't ready? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we discuss everything from religion to politics to relationships. But of course, we do it from a man's perspective. Now, this is not just for men, but rather it's for everybody. Men, women, boys, girls, everybody. So we want you to participate in the conversation with us. How you do that? You just simply drop your question or your comment in the comments. We'll be able to see it. And then that's how you join into the conversation. But let's all talk about this. Let's all of us just discuss this. But before we get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Man Talk Monday News.
Good evening. This is Man Talk Monday News with your man, John D. Blackman. And tonight on Man Talk News, we're wondering, Corona, are you a lady? Because if you're a lady, I am sorry, girl. I am sorry for whatever I did. Because if you don't leave, I can't breathe. If you keep staying, I'm going to keep laying. Girl, I'm eating because I'm sitting on the couch. Please, Miss Corona, if you can find it in your heart, could you ease on out the door? I'm trying to get on with my life, but I can't do it because you won't leave. I'm tired of wearing a mask. I'm pretty up in here. I need people to see this. Okay? So, Miss Corona, please, if you wanna, could you please move on her? And this has been John D. Blackman on Man Talk News. Good evening and good night.
Yeah, she acting bad around here.
Bro, somebody made her mad, brother.
I'm about for real.
Brother, I'm sorry for everybody.
Whatever we did, we sorry. We just want to kind of get back to life, man. Just get back to it. But gotta be patient, and I think this thing will work out. We get it resolved, get it situated. So, but we won't prolong the time. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a hot one for you tonight. So tonight we are talking about, can I trust you with my daughter? Can I trust you with my daughter? All right. Now, before we get into the topic, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by our esteemed guest, Mr. Malik Ali, Michael Lewis.
Malik Ali.
What it do?
Yeah. All right. Malik Ali he's a radio host. He's an artist. Matter of fact, he has the Mike Music Show on Mo Music, Mo Radio, internet radio station on Live 365. Also, he has his new album, Pave a Lane, right? And that's available on iTunes, so you can go out and get that. Real good stuff. You want to check him out. I'll show some love to Mr. Malik Ali. You ready?
Yes, sir. By all means, bring it on. Let's do this.
All right. So let's just start with the obvious question. Can I trust you with my daughters? Both of y'all are fathers. You know what I'm saying? You got daughters. What's your answer to this question?
Okay, so you asking me, can you trust me? Can you trust me?
No. Can you trust the guy with your daughter? He's like, hold on. Right.
So you asked what are the requirements for a guy that wants to date my daughter?
So let's say your daughter, she brings home this young man. What are some things that you looking for to see if you good with who she brought home?
Okay, well, the first thing I'm gonna do is shake his hand. And if he give me some old limp handshake,
right, you need some firm, right?
You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna try to conversate with him a little bit, make sure that he know how to do eye contact. You know what I mean? And me knowing that he's probably nervous, I'm gonna probably try to talk him into a conversation and see how he handles himself on his feet. Just those are the initial things that I'm looking for, because I just think initially, just starting out, for you to trust somebody to take your daughter outside of the home, you want to know that she's with somebody that has a backbone, that's firm, and then, you know what I mean, that's quick on his feet. You know what I mean?
Right. In case something pop off somewhere. What about you, John?
I ain't having it. Don't even come. No. It just, a lot of it is, I think it just depends on when we're talking about age. Say with my daughter, I remember my daughter was, I think she was 16, and this pretty cat had came to the house. And so I scoped him because he was all pretty, and I was like, nah. So
You're pretty Ricky.
I just say it. And see, he was out, man, and I can kind of tell the spirit of a guy and what he wants at that, at that time.
Right.
And so I grabbed my daughter and my wife and everybody. I'm saying, hey y'all. So if you're gonna agree, if you're gonna let her go, then we're gonna have to pray before he go.
Right.
They was looking at me like, what? I was like, yeah, we gotta pray. So everybody grabbed each other by their heads. So they looking at me, and I'm like, Lord, please, I don't want to go back to jail.
Okay.
Let this man tell me the truth, because I don't want to go back to jail. I don't have time. I don't have nobody putting on my books. I don't want to go back to jail. Let this man be telling me the truth. And I say, amen, and looked at him like this. And that dude took her to the mall in about 15 minutes, turned around and brought her back home.
Yeah.
But see, now this the thing. If your intentions are good, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Unless you're worried that her daddy gonna have to go back to jail.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna take her and bring her right back home. Most of the time, man, I can tell guys. I know guys. I can tell guys that's you know what's really funny about this? When I got with my girlfriend in high school, her parents didn't want her dating me because they thought that I was that dude.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we ain't talking about whether or not I was. I'm just saying they didn't want me dating. They didn't want her dating me because they thought I was that dude.
Okay.
Game recognized game.
So let me ask this question. How much do you think about things that you did in your past when you think about some dude dating your daughter? Does that ever come up?
So you have to be a gentleman.
Well, I think about it a lot, man. I think about that's how I can get a kind of a gauge to how guys are. Because I can generally, man. Now my daughter's a little older. She's 26, and I can tell when the guy genuinely, has her best interest at heart. But now she also has some knuckleheads that when they knocked on the door, I wanted to put him in a trash bag and sit in my back so they can pick him up. But again, that's what she want. That and the difficult thing about it is, regardless of what standards I have set for, man, most time, brother, they ain't trying to hear that.
Oh,
the sad part about it is that I think that you will be a little bit off as far as what you would want for your daughter, and usually that does have a little bit to do with how you were. But I think if you're in the house, or if you're taking part in raising your daughter, then you're kind of coaching her up. You should be coaching her up against guys like you anyway. But the bad thing about it is that your daughter is usually going to go out and get somebody that reminds her of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a man is his daughter's first love. So she's usually going to get somebody that reminds her of her dad. So I think it's important on the image that we're portraying to our daughters, because when they do go out and look for somebody that reminds them of their dad, you want a good reminder. Don't want my daddy a womanizer. My daddy think it's okay to smack on women.
It's that fear, because you think about you at that age back then. Would you want your daughter to run into you?
We'll let Michael ask that. Go plead the field.
Hey, that was coming next. You know what? Honestly, probably not. Probably not, because I didn't have good intentions. It took me a long time to even understand the value of a female. You know what I mean? So I think it's important. Some of the questions that like I said, a conversation I usually try to have with the son, either with my daughter, about this boy. Are they mom and dad together? How long have the mom and dad been together? You know what I mean? Because a lot of that has to do with what went into making him. And if he's from a disgruntled or a separated home, then he probably got values and relationships kind of wrong. It's a good chance that he does, that he didn't have a good example of how relationships is supposed to go. Either what a man's supposed to bring or what a woman's supposed to bring, but somehow mom and daddy didn't work out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then it's okay to have kids and things not work out because you've seen that before. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that conversation is really important. So I try to have those conversations, with the dude. I don't want the little dudes. We're gonna call them little dudes. I don't want the little Thundercats. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the little Thundercats in my crib in the first place, trying to holler at my daughter, because you don't think nobody has good intentions when it comes to your child. You know what I mean? That's how, and women are the same way about their sons as far as females is concerned. You know what I mean? So, but what I had to learn the hard way is they're gonna, like John said earlier, their standards is usually off from yours. What they want from themselves is usually a little different than what you want from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. So Monique said that's a great point. She said, "Be the example."
Right.
Now you said, okay. Anthony said, with that being said, a man that is in his daughter's life is going to direct her away from the guys that could potentially have those negative attributes that he once obtained. Right.
Yeah, see, that's true. That's true, man. But they'll only listen to that for so long, though.
Yeah, but
only go to that for so long, man. Because you can only run them. You can only stay on the porch and bark.
So what you do when they don't listen? What happens when they don't listen? What do you do?
Well, one of the things, man, you hope that you put enough stuff in them, where even when they decide to kind of go their own way, they know and understand. They know and understand what was taught at the house, how daddy was out, and what the expectations are at the house,
right?
For a man that's coming in your life. I mean, because I don't trust nobody. I think it's easier for me not to trust nobody at first than it is for me to be trusting everybody, and then she got to fight off them little young Thundercats all the time.
You're right. So you get a young man. Let's say he didn't have a dad, because Mike mentioned something. He says, "I'm looking for a firm handshake, looking for somebody who looks me in my eyes when he talks to me." I don't know how many women really instill that into their sons. Ladies, if you're listening, if that's you, if that's something you instill into your son, let me know. But I don't know a lot of ladies that really think like that, to instill those types of things into their son. But I mean, you the protector, right? So do you think a lot of young ladies miss out when they don't have that father protecting them?
Definitely.
Because like he said, to kind of piggyback off what Malik is saying, You know, it's little things. You know, standing up straight, don't slouch. You know, look me in my eyes. Be assertive. Don't be looking like you timid and scared. You know, be assertive. You're a young man. Handle yourself like a young man. And I think that's only stuff though normally that they can get from having a man around. And it's important that they have men around, but not only men, but the right type of men. The examples that we talked about.
Right.
If you don't have examples of how somebody's supposed to treat somebody, then brother, you just out there doing it. But with that being said, even though you have examples, it just depends on what season I'm in.
What season? In them seasons. All right, Anthony said you can't force it. You just have to make it a discussion so that they aren't naive to it, right?
Sure.
So kind of raise their awareness, put it on their mind. But ultimately, I mean, the decision really is up to her. So at what age is the decision really up to her? And what age can you run interference and be like, no, that ain't going on?
I would say as long as when they're in high school, you kind of have them. Man, when they graduate from high school and start trying to get into that adulting kind of thing, it's a little more difficult to hold on to them and kind of control the path they go, because you know they like most of them like wild horses. They bucking, trying to get away, and you can only fight for so long before they trying to figure out who they are. Yeah, away from you. So you know, so it's difficult, man. I would say after high school, it's a wrap.
What about you, Malik?
Well, honestly, I think if you're going by what I would say I wouldn't want them dating until after high school. But you know, neither one of my daughters listen to that. You know what I'm saying? They had boyfriends before they got out of school, and they tend to go through grown-up things when they're kids. You know what I mean? Putting themselves in grown-up positions because of relationships. And then that affects where you're going to college, and that person has say-so in what you're doing. And at that age, you're too young to have people having say-so in your life that may not be around in a year or two. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like John said, usually they don't really listen to you. They love. So the age-wise, it's whenever she feels like she's in love. You know what I'm saying? Because once they call themselves in love, then now somebody else is influencing them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that usually starts when they're about 16, 17 years old. They start smelling themselves. Little boys go to the fine. You know what I mean? Right. So, and you usually can tell, you know, by their actions, if there's a little guy or little girl around that's kind of building them up and boasting them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
so,
got to look for the signs. Absolutely.
And then the influence comes. And then depends on that little boy and where his head is. And like John said, he scared that little boy to death. They didn't have good intentions. Well, right. You know, you can threaten the kid with a gun. You used to be able to threaten the kid with a gun.
My God,
these shorty steps to pull out a gun bigger than yours there.
Yeah, you dealing with a different breed these days.
Yeah. Man, just have at 7 o'clock, man.
Right. Well, just when you decide to come back, you just bring that up. All right. So Malik said influence. All right. So we talk about influence. So can you effectively set the standards for manhood for your daughter if she's not in your home? You got a lot of single parent homes these days. Can you effectively do that?
If you're not in the house but you're spending time with them, that means a lot. I think people undervalue not being over. I think they overvalue. It's as much as you want to be there to see them every day. It's not about the amount of time. It's about the quality of it. And if you're talking to them and pouring into them and have a good relationship with them, I think very much so it can be beneficial for them. It can be beneficial both ways. I think it can work both ways. I just think that guy needs to make sure that he has an influence on that child, whether in that house or not.
Okay. So here's another caveat to this. How important, if the man is not in the home, right? You said as long as he spend that quality time and the whole nine. So how important is the father's relationship with the mother?
Well, if they're not together, it's almost a 70% chance. I say it's high. I'm just being nice and saying 70. It's almost 70% chance that y'all got different parenting styles. You know what I mean? There's going to be some things. This is where when you have kids with people that you're not going to be with for the rest of your life, this is what you open yourself up to, because now you got to get along with somebody and raise our kids in different houses in different ways. What she may let them stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning. You got these rules and regulations for when they come over your house, and they're good rules, and they still have fun, but they don't have the looseness that they have when they're with mama, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
that's a great point. I want to catch this real quick. That's a great point. So let's say the daughter, she got a little provocative dress or something that she likes to wear, and mama like, "Oh, girl, you look good. You look good. That look good on you." But then she come around you, then now you like, well, hold, wait, hold up.
I want something up to here.
How you police that? How you police that in that situation? How do you get her? Because especially if she living with mom and mom is signing off on it, how do you get with her and say, you know?
But don't she already know what dad is about when she come? She bring the I'm gonna be around my daddy clothes that we.
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because they're challenging at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's mama let me do it. And it's whoever lets. You never had your kid go into one room and ask mama, can I have something? And he know daddy gonna say no. So he go ask mama. Or if mama say no, he go off in another room and he ask daddy.
Yeah, but if you coming over to my house, you already know what I'm standing for when you get to my house. You know what I'm going for and what I'm not going for. You know the freedom is at mama house. You know what you got to do. You know you got to line up when you get to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but also there's a fight that's going to come with that, though. So if they're not staying with you and they come over to your house and they're dressed a certain way, you got to pick and choose your fights and your arguments. Yes, you want her to know the value of herself, and she's not, you don't want people, she doesn't want people to look at her and think certain things about her because of how she's dressed. But at the same time, you can't go in like you would go in on the person that stayed with you, because you got to still keep in mind that, hey, this will make her not want to come back over my house and see me. You know what I'm saying? Because the other parent ain't going to make them come over there and spend time with you. So you got to.
So let me get Kevin Lewis says, I think that it's extremely difficult to influence a life if you aren't in the same house. He says it's extremely difficult to have that influence that you need to have, because
I just don't think the influence is not gonna show up as loud as the other influence that he's getting every single day. But that's not to say that you're not influencing, because a lot of times people revert back to some things that were said to them when they're in certain situations. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. But see, I think that's us thinking that it's gonna be easy whether they're in the house with us or not. It's gonna be difficult anyway. I have known it just depends, man. It's really like a dice shoot. You know, you can crap out or you can be all good, because man, you just don't really never know if they're in the house with you, what you're gonna get. They can fight you just as hard as they was if you wasn't in the house. You know, I just don't really think it's a way to tell, man.
Yeah, I think Kevin said it's called testing boundaries. Most kids are great at doing that, and I think you hit a certain age where that happens just naturally. You start testing those boundaries. But I think as a father, what advice do you give her? How do you manage that to make sure they get through that period with this little?
One of the things that took me a long time to understand, I didn't understand this at first, but you know, when your daughter's with you, you are in charge of her, but you're also more in charge of her heart. It's important that you keep her heart with you as long as you can, because when some knucklehead come across and woo 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 and Gertie woo woo woo, he gonna tug at that heart, and she gonna want her heart back from you so she can give it to him. And the longer you can keep her heart with you, the better she gonna be. Because when somebody else get it, it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that influence gets pretty serious. All right. So Rosa says, I'm a single mom, and I know that because my son doesn't have his father in his life. I want to make sure he grows up to be a gentleman. After all, My belief is I'm raising someone's future husband. I teach him to open doors, help the elders, even a good handshake and firm look when speaking to someone. All right, so let me speak, because I was that guy. I was raised by my mom, single parent, and my mom taught me how to be a polite person. She taught me how to be just a genuine, just good person. Once I hit adulthood for real, got out of college, get out in the world, I realized just how many deficiencies I had as a man, because I'm like, something should be kicking in. There's an instinct that men have, and it comes from being around men. And I was waiting for it to kick in, and it wasn't kicking in like I felt like it should. But I was fortunate enough to get to a church where there was men, and I was able to kind of start absorbing some things from these guys. And like I said, I wasn't a bad guy by, you know what I'm saying? Not to say I was an angel, but I wasn't a bad guy. I was, mannerable, polite. I was a gentleman, but still didn't have it worked out. So as a father, you got a guy who got potential. How do you deal with that?
Well, like Rosa said, though, I think it's great that she's setting the foundation for him. At least have some certain standards, stand up straight, look in the eye, firm handshake. And you do that until you can get him around some men, like you saying, that can show him how to be a man. Because I think as great as the job as Rosa sounds like she's doing, I think she only can take him so far before a man has to get him and say, boy, get on here. Let me tell you what you're doing. Let me tell you about this. Let me show you this. Let me show you that.
Yeah. Monique said both parties have to put the best interest of the daughter or son first. If the father is not in the home, he would have to be intentional and put forth a great effort to secure a positive influence for his child. Is there a window that you have to catch? Is there a certain window that you really have to catch to make sure as they hit into them teen years, you still kind of got a hold of them?
I think honestly, you got to catch them when they're young. I think from day one, like Percy said earlier, but you got to be a great example, and you gotta be thinking in the sense of, I'm programming my daughter, I'm programming her, I'm making her into being a certain way, into expecting a certain thing, and be vigilant in that. You know what I mean? And stay consistent in being that guy that opens up the door, that talks to her mom nicely, that takes out the trash, that don't want any females doing anything that a man can do. So when she gets with a guy, she may be the type that I can do things myself, because a lot of ladies are like that nowadays. At the same time, they still will want a person that can still man up. You know what I mean? And the person not manning up, that's going to stick out to her, because she's going to be like, dang, I give you an example. My daughter, I won't give no names. I just say my daughter was dating the guy. And basically when she brought him home, she like forced him on us. You know what I'm saying? And, he has a father, he has a mom, the whole nine, but, his dad fathering style was different than mine. So my daughter is bringing him to me, and, she's like, Daddy, can you coach him up? He needs to talk to you. He needs a person like you to talk to him, because his daddy don't pour into him the way and tell him the type of things that you told me that a man probably needs to hear some things from a man perspective. So can you coach him up? And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, for real? So now I got another kid.
But is that a bad thing though? Because
it's not. It's really not. But that's what, at the end of the day, as men, that's what we have to really think about, is we may have to father these boys. You know what I mean? So when they come into your house and you shaking their hands, it's because it's not your decision. It's not your decision. As much as you want to make it your decision and you want to make them do what you want them to do, I'm living proof. One of mine did things to how they, do college planned out. We got it. Ain't nobody stuck to the script, because everybody saying they want to live life. I didn't stick to the script either. They my kids. Apple don't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure my mom had high expectations for me too. You see what I'm saying? But all the time, it just kids, people. Free will is a mother.
Yeah, you're right about that. Anthony said definitely before those high school years, talking about pouring into your daughter. John, you had some facial expressions at the time. Sometimes you gotta
listen. I don't want to be dealing with my own kids. So now you telling me I gotta be dealing with somebody else's? No, bro. No.
That's why I call father-in-law.
Hold on, you ain't ready for that father-in-law yet, are you?
Listen, if you want my daughter's hand, you can't get ready to get it. So you mean to tell me I gotta coach you up so you be ready to be my daughter's husband?
You know what? Honestly, bro, if this is her choice, yeah.
Now I gotta say this. I gotta say this because that's what happened to me. My wife's father stepped in and he saw a young guy, had potential, but he can tell I was missing some things. And he kind of grabbed me and he spent time with me. At the same time, I'm looking for this.
Right.
So I gravitated to it. To the point my wife like, why you keep hanging out with my daddy? See, but I'm trying to get ready.
But so you telling me these little Thundercats trying to get ready? Trying to get ready. Them little Negroes ain't trying to do nothing but get some boot tape. Coming up in here talking about I gotta get nobody ready. Boy, bye. Gone now.
So what should he have? What should he have in place for you to say?
Dude,
all right.
It's the basics. You finna take my daughter from me, right? You're gonna take her from my house to your house. You need to have a place for her to stay. You need to have a way to provide for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to give her the basic securities that I have given her been at my house. If you can't do that for yourself, you need to keep that moving. You need to keep that moving. You ain't ready yet. You're not ready.
Okay, so Rosa said yes. Thank you. I totally agree. Awesome advice. All right, so Malik got his hand up. What's up, man? What you got?
Well, we're speaking. We're jumping years. See, John, you got to get back to the high school years because they're not gonna come like that. You feel what I'm saying? So let's say senior year in high school, bring somebody home. Senior year, you don't want them dating in high school. They finna get out. Senior year, they bring somebody home. He ain't gonna be ready. He not talking about getting married. They just date. And the subject we're talking about is, can you date my daughter? It's not, can you marry my daughter? So they're not gonna come ready.
So, but now, if your pants, okay, but it just seems like it's easier if he got his pants hanging off his behind.
That's different. Yeah, that's different. That's speaking to who he is, like his core. You feel what I'm saying?
But we can't. But how you gonna find out who he really is at his core, though?
By having conversations with him when she bring him home.
All right, Anthony said exactly. That Thundercat has to be receptive to get that knowledge from another man.
And are they gonna do that in high school? Coming out of high school, though?
Hey, listen to me. I did. That's what happened to me. The same thing happened to me. My ex father poured into me so much so that my ex and I broke up. We're not even married anymore, and her dad treats me and my new wife better. I mean, treat us just like we're his family still. They still call me son. We go there. When we go to Missouri, we stay with them. Like, that's like my dad and my mom now. My ex in-laws are my parents, and it's because they knew me so young and they poured into me. You feel what I'm saying? So they went into the man and pleased with the man that I became. And me and the daughter didn't work out, but they're still, they still happy with, and we're still cool and cordial because they poured into me like that.
What'd you say, John?
Well, now see, that means something. I'm smart enough to know that because you guys had that and I didn't, you guys are more acceptable to it because I have no tolerance for it. You could be 16, 17, 15, 13, 25, 26, 27. No. you need to get your ish together. You need to get your ish together, or you at least need to have a plan on how you're gonna do that. I'm not no.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Monique agrees with you. She said yes, provision and security. Okay, so what if your daughter
thank you.
What if she's not requiring that?
Thank you. I was just gonna ask that question. That's all I'm saying, bro. Because you can have all the requirements you want. You got this whole big old list of things that this dude gonna have to do. Your daughter got 3 things on her list.
What do you do in this situation?
What about all this stuff he missing? She like, say, daddy, but he got this. I ain't even worried about that. You more worried about that than I am, because we're worried about their future. We're worried about them overall. They're worried about them in the moment.
So hold on, let me tell y'all something. This is what we're not gonna do right here. We're not doing this. We're not finna do this. Y'all, hey, I'm saying right now, y'all get off of that. Y'all get off of that.
What you talking about? What you talking about, man?
No, bro. Hey, I'm gonna do like y'all president do. I ain't gonna speak on it.
But think about it. A lot of young ladies these days, they're not waiting on a man to have this. They like, I'm gonna go get it myself.
Word.
If she gonna go get it herself, how much is she requiring for him to have that together? Now you would go ahead.
Not only that, but like the stuff that's on her list, once she checks the things off for her list, like it's not up to us at a certain point. You feel what I'm saying? So we can kick and scream and the whole nine, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be her decision.
Well, I don't like it.
Now I will say this. Initially, right? You're in the beginning stages. Initially, that may not be important, but at some point, it will be. So how do you get her to see that down the road?
I know I'm not the only one to feel this way. Come on, view. Come on, everybody watching. Come on, jump in here with me. Let me know.
Needs some help, y'all. John needs
Don't
some
have
help.
me out here by myself. Don't have me out here by myself. So requirements to know what do we want from our kids? Do we want to follow what we've shown, and we want them to go their own way? Want them to be their own person? What do we want from our kids? And what's okay? Talk to us. Let us know what y'all think.
I want my kids to be better in their relationships, to be better than their relationships that I was in. And a lot of times when you look at your daughter, like I never forget, I got into a real bad argument with my ex, and her dad told me, he said, "Hey man, you don't have to tell me I'm married to her mom." So like that says a lot, you know what I'm saying? So he knew something about his child. You feel what I'm saying? That she had a lot of traits that the mom has and that she puts him through. Just like I feel sorry for these dudes that get my daughter. I feel sorry for them.
Oh, wow. So ladies, any ladies out there listening, tell me, what requirements did you put on that man? And where did those standards come from?
There you go.
Where did your standards come from? We got some ladies listening. Help us out. Where did your standards come from when it came to that guy you picked to either marry or you decide you're gonna be with?
And what age did the standards come in at?
Yeah, when did it become important that he had a job, that he had insurance, that he had? When did it become important?
So am I wrong? Am I wrong for wanting those things?
No,
wanting those things for my child.
No, but what's gonna happen is somebody else don't have that list, and it's other females ain't setting standards like that, and your daughter is competing with these other girls, bro, for these dudes. You feel what I'm saying? And what if she making it hard, or if she dude, it's.
All right. Anthony say, bottom line, you can set up the blueprint, but even blueprints change.
Anthony, let me tell you something, Anthony. Bro, no, we're not doing that, bro. We're not changing the blueprints, bro.
So what's the problem with her changing it?
Because I know because I know life is a classroom. You don't have to take every class. Allow me to help you skip some things and go over some hardships. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You live life, so why don't you let me live life?
Okay, so let me ask this question. Hold on, let's get Charlotte says having my uncle show me real love and me learning how to survive on my own, right? So some man had to step up, some man had to step in when the father wasn't there, right? It's hard. It's hard just doing life. So that preparation is, man, it means a lot, but it doesn't really hit until you actually jump in that water and you start figuring out you can't swim.
Well, you know, one of the things we often say is, you know, we talk about this, you know, does love conquer all? Does love, oh, but I love him. Oh, but I love him. Oh, but I love him. Does love conquer all? We all know the answer to the question. So because we know the answer to the question, we can't try to help them, baby. I'm telling you, I know how you think you feel.
No, because we know that we are old grown men. We know that. They are kids, bro. They think that they know. And the scary part is they swear they do, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? They have no idea on how naive, how dumb, how they are at that point till they get older and be like, oh my God, I can't even believe I used to think like that. But that's gospel to them at this age when they're young. You can't. So when you say does love conquer all, to us, no, it doesn't. To them, it does. Romeo and Juliet, baby. They was kids.
And they both did.
That's my point.
All right. Monique says you want your children to know their worth. A young lady or man must have standards. My standards came from my mother, aunts, uncles, and my dad. So she had a whole village working with her.
Well, it takes that.
All right. So Beatrice says my dad set the standards high. I wasn't gonna settle for anything less than what I saw growing up. Okay, so here we got somebody.
Wait a minute. Hey, is she adoptable? Because I need a daughter that's going to. That's what I need in my life. Somebody that's. Listen. We go through all this. We go through all our heartaches. We go through all the bumps in the head to make better lives and create better things for them. Why is it so crazy for us to expect the things that we built for them to come in like this rather than being underneath? Have you not seen what we went through? It's crazy because most people will watch their parents go through struggling and doggone it would do the same thing. It makes no sense to me.
Well, all right. Anthony says smarter but weaker, just like our parents told us.
Well, let me tell you what my mama told me.
But this is one thing you gotta understand, though. You gotta understand. Listen, it doesn't kick in for everybody at the same time. And I think you get scared worrying if it's gonna kick in, but how much faith do you have? All right, so how much do you think about the lessons that you taught her once she gets out there? Like, do you sit back and say, like, man, I should have told her about this? What's some things? You got some young dads listening. How could you help them to say, man, make sure you teach her this before she get out there?
Well, you know the problem? Go ahead, Mike. You go. I talk also. Go ahead.
Well, to the young guys, to the young guy parents, I would just say, take your time and enjoy the process more, because when you're young, you're so caught up into your life and living your life. Kids is a necessity. I mean, it's an accessory. You know what I mean? And when you get older, the kids become a necessity to you because you need them to thrive you and to push you and to pull you in the directions that's going to be motivate you per se. You know what I'm saying? To be a better version of yourself. So that's to me, that's more what it's about. You know what I mean? I guess that would be my answer to that question. You know what I mean?
All right. So Samantha says, my father definitely set the standard for my sisters and I. I think Malik hit the nail on the head. What if your daughter's list is different than yours? I definitely felt as though I was ready to be married, but in my so-called readiness, I totally missed the standard that my father initially set. Wow. So Samantha says, she didn't, she missed it.
What? And I get it. I'm not so old fashioned that I don't know that everybody had their own mind. But it's like, dude, I want you to be better than I was. I want you to make better decisions. I'm trying to equip you with everything that you want and need to make better decisions than I did.
But if
why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for you to set your standards as high as I do for you?
Because if she's in love with you as your dad, as her dad, then whatever it took to make you into being who you are as a man, the trials and tribulations that she's seen you go through when you fell on your face and had to get up, and she's seen you have to get up and dust yourself out, like she don't see nothing wrong with that. She see that as her dad picked himself up. Her dad got himself through. Her dad went through that. So, and you feel what I'm saying? So they make it more triumphant. So we're looking at it more as, you do not want this. This is not what you want. They're looking at it. They may be looking at it like, what's so wrong with what you have? What's so wrong with where you are?
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, he made it. So
he made it.
What's the big deal? Yeah. Now, another thing you got to realize, they saw what you went through, but how much did they feel what you went through?
And I was going to say that most of the time we shield our kids from a lot of that stuff. They don't see what ends a meeting and you come in and hit the light switch and you make up something. Oh, the power out all over the neighborhood. They don't tell them it's just out in your house because we didn't make some right decisions. We shield them from a lot of things because we don't want them exposed to that type of thing. And I think that might be the mistake, is we don't walk through the process with them and show them and teach them why. Go ahead, Mike. You saying no? What you think?
I don't shield them. I don't shield them. It is what it is. If I'm falling on my face, I gotta fall on my face in front of them, because they're gonna learn something from it. You know what I mean? And we're going through it for a reason. So I'm not gonna shield them from it, because, like I said, like that's a part of this is life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you remind them later on, hey, remember when the lights got cut off when you was little? You don't want to live like that, do you? All right, you better go out there and get you somebody that got an education, that cares something about education, they got a couple of degrees, because you can walk in your house, buddy, if you promise to walk in your house one night with Mr. Struggle, man. He cute, but we okay with struggling.
But ultimately, don't they just go through and do what we say do what we tell them not to do anyway?
Wow.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, get to the comment.
I would say they do what their heart is basically pulling them to do.
Yeah, I think Mika agrees with you. She said sometimes the heart wins over the standards.
You know why the heart wins? You know why? Let me stop.
Go ahead.
No, Derek, you be my guest. Please be my guest, Derek.
No, I'm just saying. Is that the heart? Is that the heart? Because your heart, you still want to protect that thing with all you got. Because listen, some relationships get so devastating, it's hard to come back from. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, whenever you dating, you got to have somebody that you trust, but you got to submit to that person. You got to have, because you're blinded.
Word.
You're blinded. You're blind. Somebody got to be your eyes to see things but you can't fight them though.
You know why you get blind, D?
Why is that?
You can't see with your eyes and your booty at the same time. You're only gonna be able to look at one of them, one thing at a time looking. Either the eyes looking or the booty looking. Both of them ain't looking at the same time. That's why you blind. And that's why you gotta have somebody tell you, because anytime your intellect stops and your heart starts, something wrong. Everything in you could be telling you this, no. Everything in you is talking to you. Everything in you is talking to you. And your heart say, but I love he. And everything go out the window, boy, bye. No.
But that's most young relationships, though. I will say young, We'll say young. We'll put it on the young. You know what I mean? But that's most young relationships. You're always having to build either little girls up or little boys up because they didn't let somebody in. They tore the house down. You know what I mean?
So Selena said it's the heart-ish. Now, who am I kidding? It's the bootay. LOL. So there's other things driving these decisions.
Yes,
Here's the
absolutely.
thing. Here's the thing, because all right, so what happens if they miss the standard? What happens then?
Well,
if the daughter misses the standard, what happens?
I think it's like anything else, man. I still love her. I still love my boys, even though I say go left, they go right. I same my daughter. I tell her go up, she go down. So it's the same. I still love them. You just pray and you just you beat her for they call because they're gonna call and tell you, "Ooh, daddy, I wish I had to listen to you with this boy because I did." They're gonna always call and tell you, "Oh, Dad, you do know something." Oh, Dad, you do know something. I thought you didn't know nothing, but you do know something. So they're gonna call. So you just continue to love them through it, man. That's all. I just love them through it. Love them through it. But because you went that way, there's a headache coming, and that headache might move down to the back of you, but it's coming.
Yeah, because it doesn't relinquish you from being a parent at all. Because regardless of if you're a parent to a Nobel Peace Prize winner, or if you're a parent of a trash man, you still love your kid the same. You may be a little bit more proud of,
and you may brag about one a little more than the other.
But it's not gonna never take it's not gonna take your love away from your kid. You know what I mean? So there's not anything that my kid can do that will make me turn my back completely on my kid, because I'm still gonna be your daddy regardless. So if you do go out and you pick you a bonehead, I mean, hey, that's what you signed up for. So whenever she comes back to me and she's talking about, well, this and that, and say, hey, mama, well, you do understand why this is happening, right? So either you're going to learn it before or you're going to learn it while you're going through, but you'll have your chance to say, hey, remember when I told you not to this, or remember when I was trying to get you to see that? That's what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's still a teachable moment. And just because they don't get it, when like the young lady said earlier, she didn't get it at first. Her standards was down at first. You know, sometimes you may have to recalibrate everything and redo it. And then that's where the relationship usually either go separate ways, or either they can agree to grow together. You know what I mean?
So Monique says, in all things you will learn. They will definitely learn from their mistakes. Anthony says, gotta let them bump their head and just be there to pick them up.
Yeah, with the ice on it. Yeah, put some ice on
it. Right. A steak for that ice.
Put the icing out on
it. Man, and I say it's getting tougher. You know, kids are having adult relationships way too soon these days.
And not only that, though, D. Not only that, it's getting tougher because I'm old school dad. I'm old school. My standards and my old school way of thinking is completely different from what's going on in the world now, what my daughter is exposed to now, because she good with taking care of everything and getting everything. I'm sitting back like, you ain't supposed to be doing all that. He's supposed to be doing that. And she like, no, Dad, we good. This is what we got. We good. And having to sit back and say, wow, we're in a new time. This is a new generation. Things different, man. It ain't easy. It ain't easy for me at all, man.
Well, it ain't your relationship, though.
There you go.
I mean, it's real talk, and that's like the sooner that we get in our heads as dads that we can't run our kids, that it's not our relationship, and that we can't control them. God can't control us. So what makes us think that we can control our kids? You know what I'm saying? So
got the amens. Got the amens. That's all I'm saying, Malik.
Man, what's wrong with all that, man?
But just like he said God can control us, but God's hope is that He's put enough in us, that
He don't have to control you. You do the right thing. Word, yeah,
right. Because being an adult is really learning how to parent yourself. That's really what it is. The things that your parents used to tell you to do, you now tell yourself to do. You now make yourself do. That's really what being an adult is, about parenting yourself. So, man,
Wow.
that's time is flown. So let's wrap it up. So, Malik, final thoughts that you want to leave fathers with.
Be active. There's nothing that we can't do. Just like the females swear they can do everything that a man can do. As far as the kids is concerned, we can't breastfeed, but other than that, we can do everything that moms can do with the kids, man, and we can get just as much out of our kids as the moms get out of their kids. So take pride in being a dad, man. It's really a rewarding thing in the end.
All right, Mr. Yogi, what you got for him?
Hey, you know the greatest thing about being a parent is kids, having kids, trying to shape them and mold them and do things to make sure they go a certain way and then they go the other way. And you having to adjust to the other way they go, and you love them through it anyway, man. It's the greatest feeling in the world being a parent. And I got an old Negro poem that I'm gonna leave y'all with. And it says, you can y'all making me forget it.
Oh, Crazy Douglas.
I got an old Negro poem, and it says, it's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my doorbell get the ringing. Don't y'all come around here with that. All y'all Thundercats better get away from here. Now go on, now get.
You know, tonight we've been talking about just how do you manage that standard when that child leaves? How do you know you've put enough in them to make sure that they can stay within the parameters of what you know is good for them? You know, I used to teach GED and I used to teach math, and people always had a problem with math. And I used to tell them, I said, don't focus on the numbers. The numbers change. They'll be all over the place. You focus on the operation, right? It's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Everything is that. And what I was trying to do is get them to focus on what doesn't change. You got laws, you got traditions. Traditions are our experience with the laws or the rules. But your kids may have a different experience. But if you teach them the rules, if you teach them the laws, the things that don't change, the things that are consistent, even though their experience may be different, they can still see success because they followed the rules that were set for them. Throw away the tradition, but make sure you teach them the laws, what's really right. Why? Tell them why you did the things you did. Tell them why you made the decisions you made, so that they get the understanding of why they need to make certain decisions. I think if we do this, I think although the experience may be different, I think they'll still end up in that place that we always wish that they would be, that place of success. And that's where we really want them to be. So focus on what stays consistent, not the things that change. That's King speak for this. There we go. There we go. That's another one in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, make sure y'all check out Malik Ali, the Malik Music Show. What's that? Live 365, More Music, More Radio. Hey, check us out. Also, go to our Facebook page, Man Talk Monday. We also have a podcast. We're sending out episodes on the podcast. You can catch us in a lot of different markets. So go and look for Man Talk Mondays at your favorite podcast station. Check us out. All right. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week. Same time.